less voters turn away for
Excuse me here.
that they may not acknowledge are sexist, but that
Interface with the whole hut, and mom's come in.
Elizabeth
And
Warren.
you know what I mean? Okay, but
Yeah, I mean, every woman's going to be.
let's just go.
Clinton, and every woman is going to be expected to be likable and have that.
Plays over here, and let's say, well, what is it that is immigration custom of a Southeast Asian custom? Is eye contact is misinterpreted as timid behavior when in fact some people just like to listen in, and other people just like to exploit the fact that no, we want to reverse psychology the idea and say this is really what you're thinking because we feel oppressed and we want to lash out of the oppression we felt to people who will take the oppression because we need a healing for ourselves. So if that's how it's gonna, the process is gonna be, that's how it's gonna go. And anybody else who wants dibs, okay, we get the go ahead from the establishment. We get the go ahead from the establishment that we get the go ahead to do that.
And advice coming from somebody who has claimed victory.
There it is, and there's so yeah.
Even despite some of the sexism that exists in
so,
our culture.
You say, well,
Even Clinton, they were not the first candidates, however.
what is it that
issues of likability,
what is it that you like? What could be likable without having to look over at what it is you're talking about being likable and being a survey of polarization?
Vice President really faces the challenge of communicating to
like,
people of the United States
well, you
that he's
know,
a likable,
you can't
affable,
always just be
effective
right.
personality.
You can't always be the right person or always have the right idea. Well, what if you're just kind of like wrong? What if you're just kind of like not right and I just said something that was right?
He just can't be so
And then, you know, so, you know, people say, well, that's not that's a personality issue. That's when they say, oh, you're just a homeless character is what you are, because if you don't have a personality, we're just going to say you have a character of a homeless nature.
The fact that people often say that folks want to
with my own preferences in Periscope, I listen on in, and as an icebreaker, I say,
oftentimes you'll hear people talk about a number of different types of
but
elections
a little
being
snag there.
contest,
And see, that's when the oppression, the idea of oppression comes in, is when it's like, okay, well, it's, what is that, pay it forward, pay the negative balance forward. So if it's a negative balance, pay the negative balance forward. And I'm like, wait, hold on, man, you know what I'm saying? If I'm at the such and such, and then we have to talk over each other and stuff, and I'm like, I don't have the same experience, and obviously you have the leverage and the whole idea, and the concept and stuff like that, and you have the backing power of like what you're talking about, because waffles are only sold like in Central California, right, or something like that, and so, you know, they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just add syrup to that, and like, you know what I'm saying, and if we get to crustaceous or inundaceous, then we're just going to go ahead and add the maple history, and then, you know what, that just saps everything, because that's basically, you know what I'm saying, that's just the icing on the cake of like, okay, you got the bag. First of all, we're not even gonna lift a finger because we're kind of lazy over here. I'd rather get a sandwich. We'd rather get a sandwich like without pickles or something, because you know we want to keep it true. And then so he's like, oh. So what I'm trying to tell you is that what the psychology of the healing before it hurting before it heals is because we're going to describe you as we're going to categorize you as encompass as a sexual identity that you're queer or something like that. I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to use that of such and such, and we're going to say that, oh, and you got such and such, and we're going to give the angle of the everything and that's it. as something like that, and just cut the corners on every angle, and makes it seem so easy because the angle of how easy it is, you know what I'm saying, and just where it turns into a circle, like, whoa, what did you just do, and such, and that's how you do it. And then they say you take that and that's what you do it for the people, and you say, oh yeah, and you do it like just like this, and this is how we did you, and this is what you do to them.
Simone, because I have you here,
That's how you
I
do
gotta
that.
ask you about the Bernie Sanders news this week, since you served
And so-
on his 2016 presidential campaign.
They're like,
Senator Sanders
oh
was
yeah, well,
criticized
women's
for
lib,
his
hear me roar, this is it.
to the
And like,
allegations
you know,
that came
and
out
no
in
one
the New York
discriminates,
Times
right?
article
Oh
about
man,
sexism
total
and sexual
devastation.
harassment
I
by
can't believe you
staffers
just let that
during
go.
The 2016
I'm
campaign.
like, oh,
Here's
you
how he
know, I'm
responded
like,
to
I don't
the
know
allegations.
they said to Wrigley's,
So I certainly
like
apologize to
whatever
any woman who felt that she was not
Understand,
treated
so,
appropriately, and of course, if I run, we will do better.
and this is,
And just to be clear,
and so obviously, this is not such a gray section, but it's like a sexual identity of mental bashing, if you will, in the Me Too era and stuff like that, where it's like be a doll and get me a coffee no longer applies to discriminating terms such as a secretary and stuff like that.
And at least one woman claims she was paid thousands of dollars less than her male counterpart. Simone, has any of this hit home for you? Did you ever feel mistreated?
Well, no, I mean, because, you know, some people say trimesters only go in certain trimesters, and then you have like a certain angle where it's like a standard that can't be held up against, where it's like, you can go to Planned Parenthood, you don't have to identify your race, but basically, if you're missing your belt at the end of it, we'll just talk to so-and-so, and then we'll just go ahead and CC so-and-so, and then you'll be in at will. And that's how we'll do that. So then that's what they say, and that's just because me too. I'm like, me too what? I'm like, me to you. And I'm like, oh. And then you say that. And I'm like, oh, whatever. And say, oh, well, we're just going to hand it on down. We're going to give it on down in a pecking order. And what do you say, pecking order? And you say a pecking order and say, oh, yeah, you know. And then where they snag you real quick and be like, and then we're going to just go ahead and just give that on down. So when you go to the liquor store or whatnot, and someone does something derogatory to your dog, they just brush it off and say, oh, that's your family who did that, not us. And then, you know, because we are the masterminds behind the whole thing, so we're just going to go ahead and wash our hands with the idea, and we're just going to by default say, you just do your own thing. And so then it's like, well, I like what you're talking about. I'm like, no, you don't like what I'm talking about. I mean, because, you know, Yin Yang twins are like, you know, whatever's whatever, and you're pretty disloyal.
Thank you both for joining us. Great to
Both
have
of
you
you
with us in the new year, the first weekend of the new year. Thanks for being here.